Hello class. Today I'm going to give you a demonstration on how to draw a head using charcoal. That's our next assignment. Our next assignment is to draw a portrait at the 18 by 24 inch scale using charcoal. You can use a photographic reference of yourself, or if you don't want to do a self-portrait, get somebody to sit for you for a second, take a picture of them, longer than a second of course. Take a picture of them and then print it out. Work from a printout, please. It's better than trying to work from a small cell phone image. That's a very small screen. You know, it's just problematic. Take the time to go ahead and print the picture out. Okay, so we're going to use a similar process to what we used for the sketchbook assignment I sent out to you. In fact, this this demonstration could be considered also a demonstration for what to do with the sketchbook assignment, because it's the same process, only I'm using charcoal instead of graphite. We'll also be using the chamois. This is our chamois, remember that? And then our erasers, the white plastic eraser and then the kneadable eraser. Okay, so I've started out by drawing a circle, or a circular shape anyway. The next shape I'm going to do is a cone or triangular shape, and I'm already making a decision based on observation. I'm angling the cone slightly to the left. Now, as discussed in the tutorial for the sketchbook assignment, you want to use an axis mark to help you line up the features of the face. Here, this is a 3/4 view. That means that you can see all of one side and about half of the other side. So if we were doing a frontal view, the axis mark would be right down the middle, okay? If we're doing a 3/4 view to the left, then I arc that axis mark. That suggests the form of what I'm doing, and it also points the face off to the left. Conversely, if I wanted to have the face pointed to the right, I'd change the direction of the mark. I'd actually change the focus of the cone, and we would move the head to the right. Notice what I'm doing. The chamois acts as an eraser. It also is a way to soften a mark. It's also a way to build up patina, okay? That's that layering of dust that happens on the drawing. Okay, so back to basic shapes for a moment. Circle, cone, I'm angling the cone to the left. Axis line. The axis line doesn't really exist, okay? There's no big line going down a person's face. However, the face is symmetrical. 2 eyes, nose, 2 nostrils, 2 corners of the mouth, 2 ears. We see one, we don't see the other. So that symmetry can be implied through that axis line. All right, now we need marks that designate where eyes, nose, and mouth will be. Look at the bottom of the circle. It's right about there, okay? That's a good position to place the nose. The eyes, about 1/3 of the way up from that mark. Okay, that line designates where the eyes will be. The mouth, about halfway between my nose line and the chin. And then I'm going to go ahead and make a small circle right under that mouth line. That is going to indicate where the chin will actually be. Okay, the head's not quite as sharp as my initial sketch of that cone suggests. I'm also going to make a smaller circle, about 1/3 of the size of the larger first circle. That indicates where the forehead will go. As you're developing the drawing, you can eliminate marks that you no longer need. Now I'm going to make a triangle pointed slightly to the left. That'll indicate the position of the nose. Okay, I can even go ahead and put in a small circle at the end of that mark that indicates the ball of the nose or the tip of the nose. From there, I'm going to make 2 circles like so. That's going to indicate where the eyes will be. Of course, the eyes aren't that shaped. It's just representative of the eye sockets. Eyes are more of an almond shape on the face. And by the way, the average human head is about 5 eyes wide. Okay, so if I make a small oval right there on the bridge of the nose, a second one right there, a third one right there, and then 4 and 5. Okay, so the average human face is about 5 eyes wide. I'm going to put in an oval right about here like so. That'll indicate the position of the ear. Okay, so you see what's going on there? These are all reference marks. This is a system of reference marks that allows me a scaffolding, if you will, to work on, and I can make adjustments based on observation of the actual features of this face. Now, from this position, from this point, I can start to make decisions based more on observation. For instance, I'm actually going to adjust the line of the mouth and raise it up a little higher. That's a decision based on observation. I can start to put in the line that is a demarcation of where the cheek meets the area that becomes the upper lip. I can start to put in marks that represent things like the mustache or the beard or the bottom lip. Again, when your accumulation of mark or dust gets as such that you can't really see what's going on, then go ahead and make a, erase. And I say erase, it's probably not the best word for it, but use your chamois, wipe it down, open it up, reopen the drawing, take away the marks you don't need. Now I'm going to start to adjust the edge of this head to account for this 3/4 view. I'm going to bring it in a little bit. We're also going to use our erasers to help clean up the drawing, give it a little more specificity, to be more specific, but I don't need to do that just yet. Right now, I'm just wanting to build things in. Now, the space between the 2 eyes, an inverted triangle, okay? And that gives me where the eye sockets come into the bridge of the nose and creates that little motion right there. Also, that opens it up for eyebrows. Okay? Now, right now, the drawing looks pretty dusty. There's lots of good smudging going on, right? Smudge is not really what that is. It's patina. That's okay. That's perfectly fine at this stage of the drawing, because I'll come back in and sharpen things up in a bit. Now I can even begin to use value to some extent to help me build this up a little bit. I can go ahead and start to make some other observations, like where hair is, where his edge of his beard is, the shadow under the beard, the collar of the shirt. Okay, we're building it up. We build it up, we break it down, we build it again. Make it, break it, make it again. That is the thing to remember about charcoal. Okay? It's not about draw it all out all perfect the first time. It's building things up in layers. Remember the shoe drawing. Okay? If you just made a cursory line drawing and then tried to color it in with value, no, that's not the way that works. Build it up. Build it up, break it down, do it again. Now I'm going to come back in here with my, let me draw in the eyes real quick. I'm going to come back in here with a kneadable eraser and clean this up a little bit so that y'all can see what I'm talking about. Most of the marks I'm making right now probably won't survive to the end of the drawing. They're just reference marks that I'm going to adjust. Okay, now, the kneadable. So called because you need it, and you also need it. And if you keep it in your hand, I'm drawing with my right hand, I can keep it in my left hand so I keep it warm. And the warmer it is, the more pliable it is. And now I can start to, let's get rid of that line. I can start to come in and clean up some of this dust so that we then can begin to use value to help us build form. Remember, in this context, value refers to light and dark. You can also use the white eraser, the plastic eraser. I call it a Stedletter. That's a mispronunciation of the brand name, but that's just what I call it. I can use that to chisel out some of the dust and help build form using positive-negative spatial relationships. Okay? I can also use the chamois to soften marks. Okay, some of these shadows they have a softer edge than what the drawing suggests at the moment. I just use my finger. I don't recommend that. You deposit oils from your skin onto the dry surface of the drawing, and that can turn into a hassle later. I will take this drawing to about the halfway point in the demonstration, just so you understand the process, and from there you can take it on your own. You keep working this process, making adjustments until you get a likeness, until you're satisfied with the likeness that is in the drawing, with the likeness of the face that you're working from. Not that great. The eyes aren't that great. If something is unsatisfactory, hey, guess what, folks? Charcoal is very, very mutable. If it's not working, take it out, work the process again. I don't think I have the eyes right. That's a little bit better. Not by much, but a little bit. Now I'm going to come back in again and use my eraser and carve out where light is supposed to be hitting the face. Remember, value creates form. Okay? Your contour and cross contour lines are great things, and we use them. We make use of them. But we're using cross contour line and also the patina from the chamois to create dark and light, to create value. And it's the value that really gives us a strong sense of form. Contour line in this context can help you define an edge, but it's actually, I'm using contour line through the process, but it's not going to be until I am almost near the end of the drawing and I'm satisfied that I've got the form working well and that I've got a good likeness that I'll really give a nice hard edge to something and leave it alone. Okay? So don't be sold on the first line you make. It's okay to change the position of a line, to change the position of a form. It takes time sometimes to develop things so that it's a better likeness of what you're doing. I've got a lot of I've got a lot of lines going back and forth over here that might be getting in the way. So let me soften some of this. And then we're going to come back in with the eraser in just a moment. Okay, so there's a shadow over both eyes. Light is predominantly hitting the right side of the head. There is a light spot on the left side of the forehead. You can see that as I carve out the light from that patina that's built up, I can get a stronger sense of form going on in the drawing. Remember, we build it, we break it, and we build it again. Make it, break it, make it again. So we get a process working. That's the most important thing you can do for yourself, is to understand that this is a process. Get comfortable with working the process, and then just work through it. Work it again and again and again until you get it an image that is a fair representation of your reference. You don't lose anything by breaking the drawing down. Picking up the chamois, wiping it down, and going again. Because what you get are layers. Okay, layers of mark. There's residual mark that stays on the page. You re-engage the drawing, you open it back up, you allow yourself a second chance to approach something. So you don't lose anything by taking the chamois and wiping it down. Okay, so that's about at the halfway stage. There's all kinds of things I don't like. I don't like that eye. I'm not so sure about that eye. I'm not so sure about the beard to the chin. I'm not so sure about the tip of the nose. Okay, if I do this, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a whole bunch of, look, it looks like Gandalf now. There's a whole bunch of little marks that are residual marks. I can rebuild the drawing in just a matter of minutes. I can reestablish the drawing. I can reset it up, and this is not a wasted effort at all. It allows me to re-engage with the process, to reopen the drawing, and actually maybe make some better choices. I never get rid of the entire series of marks that was made previously. They're still there. There's still a ghost of the first two passes at this. I've walked through this twice now. And I can build on top of that. So you need to be honest with yourself as you're working a drawing like this. You know, bring it to that halfway point, pull back, look at it. Really discursively, critically look at what you've done. Is what's happening on the paper a clear representation of your reference image? And this is a similar process whether you're working from an image or working from a live model. This is the process that we employ. The only business that's beneficial about having the photo reference is, you know, this guy's not going to want to take a break. He's not going to get up and go to the bathroom. He's not going to twitch or itch. You know, there it is. Let me say also this. The photograph or the printout of the digital image, this is not the measure of the successful drawing. This is a reference. That's all it is a reference. It gives me a place to go to see where things are in relation to each other. It tells me a little bit about value, not a lot. Because I set up the light is just the light in my office, and so there's a strong light behind the head and to the left. There's some ambient light coming in from the right, And it does create a value setup, but not a strong one. So, not a lot of help there. But I can change that on the drawing. I can make the drawing more dramatic in terms of relations between light and dark. There we go. Now, you'll notice there in the patina, there is patina that I may not want. Stuff like this little swipe of charcoal right here. As the drawing develops, if I don't need that, I can get rid of it. See that? I can bring that down. I can get that out of the way. Alright? Remember, this is a drawing tool. This is a drawing tool. We can use the contrast between light and dark to help us build space and form. That is so key for everything we've been doing all semester long. Value builds space and form. So we're using the dust to give us value. Now, right now, in terms of value, I've still got all that dust from when I wiped it down, and there's not a lot of form happening. Okay, again, my eraser. And following the pattern that I laid down before, I can come back in with my eraser and draw in the face. Okay, this is drawing also. I've got a positive field of dust, and I'm using the eraser as a negative mark maker, and I'm creating form or contrast, value contrast, which, if done right, hopefully, suggests form. And then I can come back and accent that using line. Okay? Gives me something to work on. Gives me something to work with. The more material you put on the page, the more you have to work with. Give yourself something to work with. Push that dust around. Okay? So use a series of cross contour lines to build up that area. I want to soften it. I want to change it. I think that ear needs to be bigger. Eventually I'm going to have to come back and really focus on that ear. So this portrait, this head, this face you're drawing, whether it's yours or a partner's, can be just as detailed as you want to make it. Okay? I'm moving through the demonstration rather rapidly just so you can get a sense of the process. But as we move through the drawing, we go from the general to the specific. We generalized using basic shapes. We built on top of those generalizations and made other generalizations. But this can become just as specific and detailed as you care to make it. In fact, I do encourage you to make a good likeness of it. We are doing an observational, referential, representational rendering of a head, of a human head. That's the assignment. So work with it. We move from the general to the specific. I move from generalized referential shapes to more specific relationships. Start big, get small. That ear right now is just a generalized kind of a blob. Doesn't really do anything. I'm probably going to have to pull it back a little bit. Build in some value contrast. Take out some mark, soften some mark. And from there I can get very, very specific. I'm actually focusing on the eyes more. I've got some good contrast happening in there right now. Let's get a little more specific. Let's talk about that shadow on the bridge of the nose. Let's talk about that nostril for just a moment. When I say talk, I mean I'm addressing it with my drawing tools. See? That's where your brain needs to be. You're speaking with your drawing tools. You are communicating something with your drawing tools. What is drawing? Drawing is an attempt to understand what's going on around you, to process information, and to transmit it to others. That's what drawing does. It's a communicative vehicle. Has been for a very long time. Okay. Look at that. Now he's got a lip. Ta-da. Is it finished? No. No, it's not. Like I said, it's about at the halfway point. And I've got enough information on the page now that I can begin to build on this and really make some specific decisions, like how dark are the circles under his eyes actually? There's a pretty good shadow right there. So I'm not using hard lines right now, am I? I'm using a very soft line. What is the shape of his eye actually? Where's his eyelid actually? Where's the eyebrow actually? What's the shape of the forehead actually? Yes, I heard you say it. All right? We move from the general to the specific. I'm not going to leave any more dust on his face than is absolutely necessary. Okay? It's there for me to push around right now. It gives me something to work off of. I'm not going to have a big, harsh contour outline unless I feel I absolutely need it. If it's necessary to show a darker edge, yeah, I'll use it. Absolutely, I will. If I need to tone it down so that I get a more specific relationship going on, then I'll tone it down. I'm going to use it to the degree that I need it. To the extent that's possible, I'm going to try to rely on contrasting value relationships to really give me a stronger sense of form. This process can go on for hours. I'm not going to make you watch me draw this for hours. If I was really clever, I'd do some sort of stop motion process where you see the drawing develop over hours. This is not something you want to just bang out in a single session. Take a few sessions with it. And a session can last anywhere from an hour to 2 hours. You know, draw it in, live with it for an afternoon, come back to it the next evening, see what you can do. See how it looks to you. You'd be surprised how different a drawing can look after just leaving it alone for a couple hours or an afternoon or a day and then coming back to it. I'll give you time to do this. This is a drawing assignment. I'll set a deadline that gives you at least a week to do this. Please don't wait till the last possible minute and then turn in some half-baked thing that you're going to try to pass off as though you actually spent a lot of time with it. No, spend time with it. You know, give yourself an hour a day over a several day span. Okay, that's better than it was. It's still pretty bad. there's still lots of things that can happen, okay? Lots of adjustments that can be made. I'd probably, just to give you a sense of where I would take this, I would probably carry this a little further and then tear it down again and build it up again. Remember, you don't lose anything when you do that. Build it, break it, build it up again. Every layer gets you a little further. It's like the waves coming up a beach, all right? Every wave goes a little further until the tide comes in. Next thing you know, you're standing in knee-deep water. So don't be afraid of spending time with the drawing. Work the process. Get a good likeness, okay? When you turn in your image to me, I'm also going to ask you, I don't want to say image, your drawing. When you turn in your drawing to me, when you email me a picture of your drawing, I'm going to ask you to also email in your reference image. And I'll do a little comparison. I'll do a little contrast and compare. When I do the review of the drawing and assign you a grade, we'll do a little contrast and compare. And I'll try to give you some pointers about what else you could have done. Remember, basic shape, basic shape, basic shape. Use basic shape. Anytime you encounter a curve, go ahead and draw that circle, draw that oval. Use basic shape. Value. Value contrast is key. Value gives you form. Value, 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 value. Okay, charcoal, vine charcoal, willow charcoal, right? Eraser, white eraser, that used to be white. See, white. And the chamois. These are your tools, okay? And the gray matter between your ears. That's the most important tool you'll have. Now I have to clean up Mrs. Lyles' dinner table because I've got charcoal dust everywhere. Thank you. Bye-bye.